I just lost my dog. Konate, man. Konate leaving Liverpool is a serious loss, man. Konate, sad, man. This is a big problem. Big problem. This is a big Liverpool problem because Konate is a great centre-back. Let's just be straight up honest. Konate is a great centre-back. He has recovery pace. He's powerful. He's great in duels. He's that profile, losing it for free is just the annoying part. Because I saw Trent leave for free, that's like a £100 million player. I see Konate leave for free, that's like a £70 million player. All of my guys are leaving for free. That should not be happening. This isn't just about Konate. This isn't just about being one player leaving on a free. This is about players just keep going and you're not getting big price tags for them. And the whole future of Liverpool centre-backs, because Van Dijk is still the leader. Van Dijk's still the leader. That is the number one centre-back there. But he's not going to be there forever. So we need to replace and we need the next generation coming through. And it's clear that Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes have been planning for the next generation coming through in Jérémy Jacquet and Giovanni Leoni and all the young G's that they just signed. That Senegalese guy, that Austrian guy, more talent in DI. I'm not even going to try to say the Austrian guy's name. But at least Liverpool done good because they brought in Jacquet early. He's 20 years old. I mean, it was a big fee for a Rennes player. He's a French under-21 centre-back. He's coming in with big expectations because now I can see him starting alongside Van Dijk. Game week 1, he's already starting. So, no pressure, kid, but you are now the future of our defence. It's like when Saliba went on loan to Marseille. He doesn't have the opportunity. He is coming in and you are leading us to our new generation. But the real question is Jacquet actually Konate's replacement? In January, did they already know that they were going to lowball Konate and Jacquet was going to come in the summer? Is he actually ready to partner Mr. Virgil van Dijk? Or are Liverpool actually in our transition era where we're just buying potential rather than certainty? We're going to hope that Leoni and Jacquet form a great partnership over the next couple of years and they become the best duo in Europe. This is a risk and reward signing. So I don't know if he's better than Konate right now, but could he be better than Konate? Who knows? Liverpool are not just replacing Konate now with Jacquet. We are trying to future-proof our defence because this season I saw 2 centre-backs get run for the whole season. 12 months of just Konate and Van Dijk, and somehow they both stayed fit for the whole season. Richard Hughes, you could say Konate leaving hurt, but Jacquet tells me that Liverpool already had an eye on the next version of their defence. This is the new iteration of our team. So it's not just a replacement signing. This is Liverpool betting on the next centre-back partnership being Leoni and Jacquet. Obviously, he learns. I saw Jacquet say he's going to learn from Virgil van Dijk for 1 season, and then we'll see how that goes. It's your time to become a leader. It's your time to have your Saliba season and take over the Premier League with your long passing, with your size, with everything about you. Please, Sir Jacquet, take over from Konate. So before looking at everything about Jacquet, we need to understand context. We need to understand why Konate leaving actually matters for Liverpool. Why Liverpool went for Jacquet and why this deal is not just a normal depth signing anymore. Because before I thought he was going to be playing underneath Konate. He'll come in some cup games and we'll see how he goes. But now this is a whole different scenario, whole different question for Liverpool. So let's just say the whole situation. Konate is leaving Liverpool. He's set to leave Liverpool as a free agent. He's free to decide whatever club he wants to go to. PSG, Real Madrid, Chelsea, wherever he wants to go. Have fun. Hope you have a good World Cup. I really like Konate, to be fair. But that for Liverpool immediately creates a centre-back problem. And it's not just because Liverpool loses a defender. It's because we lose a very specific profile. A guy who is a wide centre-back. The good thing is that there are loads of players who are wide centre-backs, and Jacquet seems to be one of them. Konate leaving really matters because he's 27. This is his prime years. He's not an aging defender being phased out. Also, one thing about Konate before I carry on. Why was he not scoring a bunch of headers in the set-piece era? But, alas, continue. But he is in his prime years currently. He's a big, fast, physical, Premier League proven, Champions League proven, international stage proven centre-back. Getting him for free is a scoop for any single team in the whole of Europe. The only annoying part that really frustrates me, I really love Konate, but the big part that frustrates me is that Liverpool don't get a transfer fee for big Konate. If he leaves for a free, that is bad asset management on the surface from Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards. I don't care. I don't care about circumstances. Trent and Konate leaving for frees is diabolical management of contracts. Please get that sorted. Please stop this. Please stop our best players going at 27 years old at their prime years to different teams. So you lose a valuable player and you don't get any transfer fee back to even invest that again. That is very bad. So the fans are obviously going to be annoyed by that side of it. But Henry Ford once said, if you asked the public what they want, they would say faster horses instead of cars. So the public is not always right. We need sporting directors who can think ahead of the time. But to do with his wage, Konate's wage, Liverpool clearly had a limit. You can't just give centre-backs. You can't give channel centre-backs £250,000 a week, because that is insane. Because there was a big gap in their contract terms. If Liverpool wanted to offer him, say, 150k a week, that is, I actually don't understand football money. Maybe it's just me. £150,000 a week, that was incredible to me. But Konate clearly wanted 250k a week. Honestly, Madrid, great sunshine, go get your money. And Liverpool chose not to overpay. So it's good to be fair that Liverpool are staying disciplined with wages, doesn't matter who you are. And then we brought in Jacquet in January, and this is where Jérémy Jacquet becomes really important, because Liverpool already agreed the deal before Konate's exit even became the main story. So what does that actually tell you? Liverpool were proof planning ahead. Maybe these geniuses actually do know what they're doing. Maybe the hate is too much and we're in a transition. So it's not a panic replacement. I have seen panic replacements. I have seen very bad transfers. So it actually looks like some good planning from Liverpool for once. Well done, Richard Hughes. So Jacquet is a 20-year-old centre-back. He came from Rennes. Big £60 million fee, big €60 million fee. It arrives in summer. He got an injury, to be fair. He is not being bought as a random squad filler. This is a first teamer. You are getting in the team straight away, Sir Jérémy Jacquet. So Liverpool see him as a serious long-term piece in the puzzle of this new defence. Jacquet is a new piece, Leone is a new piece, and the young guys. Please sign a right back. Get Denzel Dumfries out of my sight. Please, let's not even joke with that one. What is Denzel Dumfries even doing on a shopping list for Liverpool? So Liverpool are stockpiling young centre-backs. We've signed multiple young centre-backs recently. That tells you that we know that the defensive cycle is changing. It's a different era. Van Dijk is still there, but he's past his prime now. Even though he's maintaining it, he's past his prime. He's nearing the later years of his career. Honestly, this is his last year at the top. He's going to have a nice farewell at the end of 26-27 season. And Konate leaving speeds up the need for a new plan. It's a good thing. It's a new generation of Liverpool players. I understand these are all Klopp era players. So Jacquet is not coming in as a guaranteed finished product, which is going to be quite interesting because Liverpool fans are going to demand a title straight away after a big summer again. He is coming in as a high upside defender. What he can provide for Liverpool in the future will be valuable. Liverpool are betting on development and they are backing Mr. Onslaught. Oh my God. We are backing Mr. Onslaught to produce good work. But the only issue is because of the fee, expectations will be high quickly. And Konate leaving, people are just going to compare him to Konate too, because he's a black French defender, basically the same prototype. Bit of an issue, but it's a nice succession planning, let's be honest. But the good thing is, Liverpool are basically saying, we might lose Konate now. Goodbye, Konate. We are not going to pay you whatever you want. But we are not waiting until Van Dijk declines to start rebuilding the defence. Leone, what have you got? That ACL really cooked his season, because this season would have been a nice grooming season. Pause, man. This would have been a nice grooming season for him to become Van Dijk's backup and see what he's made out of. But that ACL really ruined the season. So in theory, Liverpool have a good succession planning. Jacquet is a new Konate, Leone is a new Van Dijk, and then the young guys, good luck. Let's see what you got. But before talking about Jacquet in detail, we need to understand what Liverpool are actually losing with my boy Konate. Konate leaving is not just a regular centre-back leaving. He gives Liverpool a very specific physical profile. Big frame, recovery pace, aggression, dual power, ability to defend big spaces so he can play high up. And then his role next to Van Dijk. Van Dijk is usually the calm controller, so he is the lead of the back foot. Konate is a physical enforcer, so it's a good balance because Van Dijk reads and organises, Konate attacks, duels and covers spaces. That balance worked out because their strengths match each other. And I can imagine Leone and Jacquet have similar strengths that could remake this model. None of that free back nonsense. This is probably the biggest thing Liverpool lose, is that recovery defending. Liverpool often defend high. If you want to be a big team, you want to defend high, you want to defend low when you have to defend low. But defending high means you're pressing high. And Konate is built for that, having to cover all that space in behind. He was an expert at letting... we didn't have a right back the whole season. I feel like we're just ignoring that. Curtis Jones played right back the whole season. Szoboszlai played right back. Conor Bradley got injured in December. So if a pass goes over the top, he can actually recover. And then wide channel defending. Konate being dragged into that right channel, he can comfortably just handle quick forwards in the box, outside the box, just put a hand on them. He was an expert at putting their hand on them and then they just fall over. And it's not a foul somehow. So he can cover when the fullback's pushed high. Frimpong could even play right back and Konate was comfortable. You don't realise, but no other team could just play Frimpong right back. And his defensive actions are all in the right defensive channel. He was just an expert at that. Lots of actions outside the box. His aerial numbers were elite. He wins a lot in the air. He is absolutely elite in the air. That matters because in long balls, set pieces, second ball situations, first header was usually Konate. He was top top at that. Liverpool losing that means Liverpool needs someone who can handle physical duels, because Konate on the ground too, he was powerful in contact. He is hard to run through. He is a big man. He is like 6'5" of pure Titan man. He can step into attackers and somehow, I'm not going to lie, he started to give away a couple fouls. But usually he doesn't give away fouls. He stopped counters early. This is a top centre-back. I'm not going to hate on Konate. If I see any hate on Konate, it's not real. It's a bit of, I'm sad that he's leaving. And Konate actually improved on the ball. He's not just a pure destroyer anymore. Like, he actually quite improved on the ball. He can play forward. He's not Van Dijk level of passing, but he can play 5-yard passes. He started to play some nice balls through the lines to Verts a couple times, I saw. Liverpool could build without him being a liability. And Konate was not perfect. Let me be so honest. Konate was not perfect. He was not always available throughout his whole career. There was injuries and availability issues. Obviously, now, I can't believe it, but he's fixed that completely. Maybe a slot not training once a week or something like that. But he's always been available this season. His decision-making can be very loose as well. I've seen so many mistakes from Konate. So let's get this straight. Liverpool are not losing an untouchable, perfect defender. This is not Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool are losing certainty. Certainty in a different role. You know, the stock market, it gambles on certainty. So right now, Liverpool don't have certainty. You know, when you have a Premier League proven player, certainty, big game experience, physical dominance, that is a certainty. Jacquet is not a certainty. This is a new entity, but you don't know how the stock going to go. The stock could just boom up. And he had a good understanding with Van Dijk, and he was a leader. This is hard. This is really hard to replace immediately. You can replace centre-backs on paper, but replacing a centre-back who can survive in Liverpool's high line is much harder. So now it becomes a question. What type of defender had Liverpool bought in Sir Jérémy Monsieur Jacquet? Jérémy Jacquet then is a 20-year-old French centre-back. He came through at Rennes. He had a loan spell at Clermont. Now he's coming to Liverpool as a big money young defender. That is clearly not a cheap squad signing. That is a guy who is coming for the first team straight away. He is still very young for a centre-back, let's be honest. 20 years old for a centre-back is nothing. Centre-backs usually mature later than attackers. I saw Gerard Konza make a million mistakes. Now at Leverkusen, you can see him start progressing, and now he's in the England team. Well done, Gerard Konza, by the way. So Liverpool are not buying the finished article. I hope people don't expect us to win the league next season. Just good top four, and let's progress into becoming a team that wins the league like Arsenal did with Saliba and Gabriel. You build a team. Liverpool are buying a development curve. That is important because mistakes will happen. Because he is a very good player, but mistakes will happen. He's 6'2". He's got a good size, big frame on him, very long legs, strong frame. He looks like Joel Matip when he starts running forward, when you actually watch him play. He looks like he has the physical tools for Premier League football, but having the tools is not the same as being ready. You need to actually be ready for the big fight, be ready every single 3 days for a game in Europe, for a game in the Prem, then a game in the FA Cup. Be available every single time, drop minimum a 7 out of 10. France keep producing high-level centre-backs. France have produced Saliba, Konate, Ibrahima Konaté, Lenny Euro, so many centre-backs. They have a very good track record for centre-backs. And Jacquet fits that modern French centre-back mould, a guy who's very long, very good on the ball, aggressive, all of the good attributes, big, athletic, comfortable defender space, and expected to play out from young. Rennes have become a very good development environment. I saw Rafinha there, saw Eduardo Camavinga there, I saw Jeremy Doku there. Very, very, very good team. And Ligue 1, especially, Ligue 1 gives young players minutes early, but the Premier League jump is still massive. Premier League is the best football. Premier League is the best football in the world. The speed, the pressure, punishment for mistakes will be different. You're going to have Gary Neville say, remember when they said Kusanov had a mistake in him? Because he made one mistake on his debut for 12 months. At Rennes, he used to play in the back three a lot. He used to play on the right side of centre-back. And then this season, 25-26, he's played in the centre of the centre-backs. So I hope people online, when you start seeing people online, they start just copying and pasting numbers without context. It's a completely different setup. Jacquet is quite a good, calm ball player in centre-back. He's got a very good switch on him. They want someone who can build attacks and help sustain pressure, actually have some ball playing like Joel Matip did. I really love Joel Matip. I've mentioned him a couple of times. He's a French youth international. He was named in the under-19 Euros team of the tournament. He's captained at youth level, so he's a leader. That suggests there's personality and leadership there. If you're captaining at a young age, that means people trust you around him. But senior Premier League leadership is a different test. Van Dijk is a leader. He's just a leader. And Liverpool like him. He's young, he's tall. Aerial potential. I can imagine him being aerially dominant against everyone. His leap is absolutely insane. His ball playing potential. He can be coached. He looks like a good guy. He fits the long-term rebuild of the whole. Developing. On the slot, I know that he says, okay, I want to be a ball playing side. Let's see if you can talk the talk, can you walk the walk, whatever that saying is. But I repeat, he is not the finished article. He can become casual on the ball, sometimes calm, but he's casual on the ball, and that is the risk with young centre backs becoming casual on the ball. He has the size and athletic base that you want from a centre back. You can see why Liverpool like him. You can see why Richard Hughes wanted him. You can see why every single team in Europe, Chelsea wanted him. He looks built for Premier League football. So one of the obvious reasons Liverpool like him, all of Liverpool centre-backs recently have been absolutely dominant physically. His physical potential is elite, and he can get even bigger, get more in the gym, get even bigger. That Austrian guy, by the way, absolute giant. He can become dominant in dual Jacquet. That matters because Liverpool needs centre-backs who can handle transitions, set pieces, and physical forwards. Every single team in the league has a big brute up front. If you need a centre-back, do you think Lisandro Martinez can handle Haaland? Maybe he can, actually, to be fair, but ignore that part. He looks like someone who is developing very quickly, very, very quickly. His development curve, his growth curve is very, very fast, and you can see him becoming a top centre-back within 2-3 years. He can become one of the best centre-backs in the world. He can become part of that French team. I hope he goes to the next Euros. So Liverpool are not buying a finished defender. They're buying someone who they think can become elite with the right coaching and the right environment. And I can imagine those type of words will be said all summer long. They'll say, oh, Jacquet is learning. Jacquet is coming in with a nice environment. He's going to learn from Van Dijk. All that stuff. The big thing that I'm worried about is his decision making. It is the big one because I remember Kwanzaa when Bruno lobbed the keeper from the halfway line. It's just decision making from young centre backs. When to step out, when to hold their position, when to play forward, when to play it simple. You know, that stuff that separates talented centre backs from the reliable centre backs. Being a reliable defender is the hardest thing in the world because it just comes with experience. You have to have been in that position numerous times. And playing in a back three is completely different than playing in a back four because Liverpool, the spaces are going to be much, much bigger. I remember seeing some of his games. He was playing as a quarterback, basically, with no pressure on the ball. Then you have to defend more 1v1 situations, but he's really good at that. Very, very good at that. And the jump from Ligue 1 to Premier League is not small. The tempo is different. The pressing is different. The mistakes get punished way quicker. So patience is needed. Do not jump on his back. So Jacquet, he has all the tools. Liverpool just need to turn that tools into reliability. You can see why Liverpool like him, but you can see why throwing him straight into the side to replace Konate's role straight away would be so risky. So now the big question is, compared to Konate, what is Liverpool actually replacing and what are they changing? So the similarities with Konate, they're both French centre-backs, both are big, both have the physical profile Liverpool like, but you shouldn't just make lazy comparisons. I hope we don't see Jacquet is the young Konate, Jacquet is the next Konate. Konate is more proven. He's done it in the Premier League. He's defended elite forwards. I saw him lock up Vinny Jr. He's played Champions League football. He's played in finals. He knows Liverpool's high line. He knows what it means to play next to Van Dijk. You know, Van Dijk has a whole aura. You can't be shook. You can't be scared. So Jacquet's potential, Konate is evidence of what the potential could be. That is the key difference. Jacquet could be interesting because he has the calmness on the ball that Konate doesn't have. He has a big passing potential that Konate doesn't have. Aerially, I believe Konate did not score many goals. Jacquet has potential to score goals from set pieces. He's younger. He has a more coachable profile. Konate actually was coached by Jurgen Klopp. So his head, he's not naturally thought, okay, how can I play on the ball? So the good thing is he might become a cleaner build-up defender long term. So I hope we don't say that he's a direct replacement because Jacquet may take Konate's squad place. That does not mean immediately he replaces Konate's level. Konate is an 89 rated defender in my head. Jacquet is an 81 rated defender currently. Maybe an 82, 83 rated defender. So the big question is, can Jacquet defend Liverpool spaces? Probably. Can he handle being isolated 1v1? Probably. Can he recover when the line is beaten? Can he defend wide channels? You know, the improvement in players in the Premier League compared to Ligue 1 is going to be crazy. Can he stay calm when Premier League teams press him? If they leave him on the ball, can he pick passes out that he's doing at Rennes? So the risk is Liverpool expect him to be instantly Konate. That is unfair on him. If you give him time next to Van Dijk, it makes more sense. And then the fee creates pressure. The profile is clearly long-term. And Liverpool right now do not want to hear the word long-term. If you won the Premier League last year, you do not want to hear about projects. But Arteta's project lasted quite a long time as well. And that is why Van Dijk's point matters so much. Because Jacquet's first year at Liverpool is going to depend less on who he is alone and who he is playing next to, which is Sir Virgil van Dijk II. With With Leone, let's see what you got. I don't want to judge him straight away. Let's see what you got. There's a bigger sample size of Jacquet. Jacquet should not be judged alone next season, 26-27. The real question is how he fits next to Van Dijk, because I imagine that's how he's going to fit next to Leone long term. Van Dijk is the leader of that defence. So Liverpool needs someone who complements him, not someone who copies him. I don't want to see him backing off. He needs to be the guy who is aggressive. He has to defend the right side confidently. I don't want to see no slips or in that channel or stuff like that. He has to deal with runners. He has to cover when the right back pushes forward, whoever that might be. He has to win duels without overcommitting, not just causing fouls, because you know how the Premier League is. Modern day set pieces matter so much. He has to be brave on the ball, but not careless. So it could work because Van Dijk can guide him through games. I don't know how his English is. I'm going to have to see that. But Van Dijk can carry him through games, and Jacquet would have the best possible mentor next to him in football. So next to Van Dijk, he does not need to be the main passer immediately. He just needs to be reliable. That is the main word. Just be reliable. 26-27. Keep the ball moving. Break lines when it's on. Find verts. Hopefully Adam Morton's there so you don't have to do that all the time. Don't force hero passes. I know the big switch to Rio Ngamoa, hopefully left wing, is always on. But just let your confidence grow naturally, and let's see where you're at come the Champions League games in February. So after looking at Konate, after looking at Jacquet, after looking at Liverpool, after looking at Slot, after looking at Van Dijk, here is where I land on this signing. I understand the Monsieur Jacquet signing. It is ambitious, it is expensive, it is risky, but it makes sense when you look at Liverpool's defensive cycle. This is not Konate just leaves and Jacquet replaces him. That is way too basic for sporting directors of multi-million-pound projects. Liverpool are trying to build the next version of their defence, and that is Jacquet right centre-back. And Jacquet is future-proofing from early. That is why his price was so expensive. Chelsea were in for him as well. Liverpool lose with Konate, Premier League experience, recovery defending, physical security, proven partner for Van Dijk, someone who knows the demands of Liverpool's high line. That can't be replaced overnight. But what Liverpool gained with Jacquet is youth, size, aerial potential, ball playing potential, someone who could grow next to Van Dijk before becoming the main piece, and then when Leone comes in, then he's the next piece as well like that. So the key difference is that Konate is evidence of what he could be. Champions League finals. Jacquet is projection. So the best case scenario is Jacquet settles quickly, he learns from Van Dijk, he becomes more reliable in decision making, keeps his calmness on the ball, adapts physically to the Premier League, and hey presto, we've got a centre-back. You can think long-term Liverpool have a nice right-sided centre-back. The worst-case scenario is the Premier League jump is too fast. You never know what Ollie Watkins could have for you on game week 1. He gets exposed in the back four, his decision-making errors become costly, and he starts making mistakes because of his confidence being low. The fee creates pressure, he starts to give in interviews, fans expect him to replace Konate immediately, and his confidence gets hit early. That is the worst-case scenario, because maybe we do need to sign another centre-back, because Jacquet can't be the only guy, because the next guy up is Joe Gomez if he stays. So what Liverpool needs to do is give him time. Don't judge him like a finished defender straight away. Let him learn next to Sir Virgil. So I like the idea, I like his profile, I like the timing, because Van Dijk is still there to guide him for one more year. So Konate leaving hurts, but Jacquet arriving showed Liverpool are not just reacting, they are trying to plan the next defensive era, and that era starts in 26-27 and it ends in 27-28, with Jacquet and Leone being the duo for the next 10 years. Well, let me know what you think. Is Jacquet the right